Welcome. Z was released in 2020 and was directed by Brandon Christensen, and is about a boy's imaginary friend who terrorizes his family. So Z is a Shudder original, and it was on Amazon Prime to be able to rent, so Austin, Michael, Savannah, the family was all like, let's watch it. And boy, was it quite an adventure. There's not much that I could say positive about it, but it did make the list. It is on the list, which is now the top 15 of the best funny bad horror movies. It has reached the list, and I am so happy that there's now another movie on there, because I had such a fun time watching this movie. I will preface, it was better watching it with people. I don't think it would be as good if you were watching it alone, but is any funny bad horror movie good when you're watching it alone? It kind of stinks a little bit more, but Z was so funny in so many parts, and not because it was planned. And I feel bad laughing at some of the things because it's really dark, a lot of the story, but it's just painted in such a hilarious way. And I really feel bad saying it because I don't really want to spoil anything with it, but there's like one scene that it's so bad. Like, it's so bad to laugh at it because it's so dark, but I just started bursting out laughing. I really don't want to say what it is, but there's a scene, and I'll just kind of say, if you're gonna watch it, that the scene is... Oh, how am I gonna explain this without spoiling it? Okay, they're at a friend's house. That's all I'll say. They're at a friend's house. You'll know the scene once you reach it. If we're gonna actually talk about some pros, I do have one, which is the cinematography isn't that bad. It's really... honestly, it's pretty beautiful. A lot of the shots of, like, the house, and although, like, the house, we all kind of said we would never live there because it looks a little bit too depressing, but it is a beautiful shot, and every single time there's, like, a nice shot outside, it looks great. In the house, the shots are pretty good. It's the CGI that's really, really bad in this movie, and it adds to some funny scenes, but the CGI is very bad, and it's very noticeable. I think because it was a really low-budget film, that it wasn't the best CGI effects. They should have gone for stuff more practical. It felt like they were a little bit too reliant on the CGI with this movie, although they knew that they wouldn't be getting a big budget. So they should have tried to plan around that and have some more practical effects. In terms of cons, I mean, instead of just saying everything, the acting is not the best. It's pretty laughable at some points. I will say that I do respect the person who plays the mom. The mom's name is Beth. She isn't that bad. She really had to have the most interesting performance, and she does. She really takes the spotlight in a lot of scenes. Some of it not for the best, but I will say she does put up a respectable performance, and the son, he isn't that bad either. In terms of some other cons, I mean, the plot becomes really laughable, which is kind of sad to say because it's this really dark, depressing story, but it's really bad because they never try to grow the character, and it just kind of feels like it kind of felt like the director of this movie and the writers were like, what is gonna scare someone here? And they were like, jump scare. And they were like, bet. So they do that instead of adding to the plot. And then another scene, they're like, okay, I feel like we should add some plot here. And the director was like, no, what we need is a really bad jump scare. And they're like, you know what? You're right, this needs a jump scare. And it felt like they tried to do that too much, and it just really takes away from the story. I wanted to find out more about Z, as funny as it is. Like, I want to learn more about him. We get some things about him, and like you could kind of piece some stuff together by the end. But I did want to learn more about Z. Is it a demon? Is it a figment of our imagination. Like, what was Z? And they never really explain it. But we do see Z, and Z changes basically in every single shot. Every time someone sees him, Z looks different. And I think they were trying to go for everyone imagine Z different. But we needed Z to look like one person, because they never try to explain why Z looks different to everybody. So that really didn't work. But other than that, I mean, I already said the acting isn't the best. The plot is pretty laughable. And I think the dialogue really makes it as funny as it is. The dialogue isn't the best. And probably that's the worst part about the movie, the writing and the way that these lines were delivered. Kind of stunk, kind of made it really funny. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are some very funny lines in it. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. And if I'm giving it a funny bad scale rating, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And of course, like I said in the beginning, I recommend it if you're going to watch it with friends. If you're watching it by yourself, then I wouldn't recommend it. Before I start saying my thank yous though, I do want to say that this movie has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I don't know why. It does not deserve to be a 96%. And also, I looked on the RogerEbert.com, and they gave it 2.5 stars out of 4. I don't get it. If let me know in the comments if there was something I missed if you watched it, but it really does not deserve to be a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes or a 2.5 stars. It really doesn't. But I love how the audience score was really bad. And I was like, you know what? At least people do understand. And it's not stuck up critics. So thank you everyone for watching. And thank you to everyone for watching all the videos I came out with in October. And thank you to Tina for editing those videos. She did an amazing job. You always do an amazing job, Tina. Keep it up. If you want me to keep any of this series or try to implement more stuff in the future that I did in the month of October, let me know down in the comments, because like I said, I had so much fun filming all those videos. So again, thank you everyone for watching, but let's flash forward to the next reveal.